the world know that the city is mine. What?
On the show today, but first and foremost, Pickle Juice. Now check this out. Let me tell you about Pickle Juice. Pickle Juice is a company that was founded in Florida in 2005. You know, it was a trick someone played on somebody ended up working out. What happened is they they spiked it. So it was a Gatorade bottle. They took the Gatorade out, put pickle juice in, thinking it was going to fix cramps, which it did. So then the Pickle Juice company was created. So if you have any players, you want to sports and want to get involved in pickle juice, just hit them up. Just right here. But back to you guys. How you guys doing today?
We're doing good.
We're doing pretty good.
Appreciate you guys coming on. We'll give you guys a chance to introduce yourself to the podcast, and then we take it there.
My name is Coach Satllings, head women's basketball coach here at Chowan University in Murfreesboro, North Carolina. I'm from Mississippi, and I'm excited to be here.
And my name is Coach K, assistant coach here at Chowan. I am from Virginia, 757 area, and I am happy to be back home at my alma mater.
Appreciate that. Shout out to Chowan University. Appreciate that, guys. So you guys just took over the rings over there. First of all, congratulations.
Thank you.
Steins, I know you are a veteran of the show. You did time, spent time in Wiley. So give me a little bit about how you got the position over there at Chowan.
I think God just kind of opened the door. I was at Wiley, minding my business and the Corona business that has affected a lot of the small schools, but everybody in some capacity. And I got the phone call. So I did an interview, and really I did pretty good on the interview. I didn't really know what I was getting signed up for. I knew it was D2. I knew it was in North Carolina, but being on the job, the best experience is to actually go through it. So it's been a joy, absolutely, to be with Coach Jackson and her knowledge of basketball and the area. But the administration here, the coaches, the girls, like everybody has welcomed me with open arms. So it has been a smooth transition.
And so when you got the position, I'm sure you was happy and, giving up good, almost back to D1. You headed back up there, So
yeah, that's not a goal of mine. A head coach is not a goal of mine. I just feel like God keeps opening doors, and he has to literally make me so uncomfortable that it's just like I have to take the opportunity. So I don't want him to keep having to do that. But I'll take it. If he thinks that I can do it, and other people obviously think that I can do it, then I'll take it.
So a little bit before I get into your program, and you brought Coach K on, what made you reach out to her? Because I know she's a former player, and then Coach K, and then we could talk about you as well.
I was calling around because I didn't have an assistant in mind. Two assistants I had at Wiley were not interested in coming here. But I knew I needed somebody with player development and a recruiting kind of resume. I wanted somebody who was hardworking. I don't really like to motivate adults. So I ended up calling my friend girl, and she asked her head coach, and the head coach that she asked coached Coach Jackson. So he gave me her name, and I waited a couple of days, and I ended up calling. And our first conversation, we was on the phone for like 3 hours, I think. And we could have gone on and on and on. I don't know why we ended up getting off the phone. It was because one of us had to do something. But I kind of knew then she was my person. But I did, pray about it. And I think the next time we talked, she was like, look, I want the job. So whenever you offer, I'm excited. And an area like Chowan, very rural, not a lot of sites and things like that. And so for her to say, I want to do it, that was big for me. We had already clicked on so many other levels, basketball wise, our Christ likeness, just so many, and just wanting to be respected and how we carry ourselves as Black women. But when she said, like, I want the job before I ever even offered, it was kind of a no-brainer for me, and it's been amazing.
And then Coach K, you gave me a little bit of your
history. Thank you.
That's sweet. She speaks high praises of you, even off air. I've talked to her about you so much. So now you have an opportunity to, share yourself with our guest, Coach K. So a little bit about yourself.
Well, I love basketball, and I've kind of grown in the past 5 or 6 years to really do things God's way. I actually stepped off of my teaching job because God told me to. I didn't know why He was telling me to do that, but getting this job helps me to see why He told me to do that, because I needed the time to do it. I needed this is my full-time job now. But Coach G called me, and I was actually getting my hair done, and I missed the call. I called him back, and I was like, "Hey," and he was like, "Yeah, so I got a proposition for you." I'm like, "Yeah, shoot, go ahead." He was like, "Yeah, so Chowan needs an assistant coach," and I'm like, "Huh? Like, you're calling me for that? Like, this out of the blue." Now, whole time God has blessed me with a business. My business is player development. And I had just stepped off of my job at Bryan and Stratton. So it was just like, I wasn't looking for this at all. I was satisfied where God had me in my business. And again, when she called and we talked, I told God, I was like, "Look, can you just give me a sign if this is what I'm supposed to do?" I was like, "All right, we off on Monday. If she called Monday, then God, I know it's you." She waited till Wednesday to call me. So I'm like, all right. Oh no, so we're talking, but I'm gonna tell you what really led me to saying, this has to be God, because I fasted for the entire month of October. And me and her were just talking on the phone, and she mentioned that she had fasted for the entire month of October. And I said, you know what? Like, it can only be God. Like, who does that? Like, how is that possible? So it was exciting. It's always been a dream of mine to come back to my alma mater to coach. But it wasn't something I was looking for at the time. And that's kind of how God works. Like, once you just say, all right, God, do whatever you're going to do, and you take your mind off of it, he drops that thing on you. So it's been a blessing to be here. She is teaching me a lot of things. She is about her business, and I appreciate that. And I also feel valued by her. I appreciate our communication. I appreciate what she's teaching me right now, because I didn't learn it as much as I'm learning it right now. So it's definitely helping me to grow. And we already in a month, I'll say we can be Batman and Robin. Like, we can be that. We can be that duo. So name a better duo right now.
None better than y'all two. I will say one thing though. Obviously, it's our first time we're ever talking, but I was on Coach's IG. We follow each other from before, and it was a link to like your video, and it was like, I didn't even know you, and I was watching it, and I was excited. I was like, she's coming home. She's driving from where? Like, he was driving, I don't know how many miles it was, but you had like clips, like you was like the returning of something. So I guess I've
been telling everybody, I'm like, look, I'm LeBron. I feel like LeBron now, man. I got to bring a ring back to my city. Like, I'm here for it. So I'm excited about it.
What about, so you got a little experience with videography and stuff like that, obviously, and stuff like that. It's evident.
Funny, because I don't, for real. Look.
Oh, okay.
I just switched over to iPhone. First iPhone ever. And that was a crazy, look, you're right. Like, I've been team Android all my life since cell phone came out. I just switched over. And again, I credit that to God too, because when I say I'm team Android, like, I'm team Android, but I switched over. And because of my business, I'm putting videos out and things like that for my business. And I do things with a spirit of excellence. I want it to boom. I want people to be attracted to it. And so I really just started kind of getting into it. And it just so happened that I was, better at it. I also have another page, Social Media Church, and I was doing some things for that as well with the video. And then when this happened, I was like, okay. So then I drove up here. I said, look, I just want to drive up here to see, how long it's going to take me to get here. I know how long it's going to take me to get here. I've been here for 4 years. Like, I know how long it's going to take me, but I was excited. I'm going to just drive up here to see if it's traffic, So in the meantime, when I was driving, I was just like, let's get some of this. And I did. And then I just so happened to save the message that Coach G had left for me. And just everything just kind of, it just kind of, and I'm just like, okay, this will work. So that's what's up.
It's much needed in the society. Even me being an old veteran coach, I'm knowing like, hey, I don't know. When I was coaching, I don't even know if I'd have really been good at this stuff. I'll post a couple of things and think I did something.
Right.
And then, yeah, and then my social media guy for the team I run, I'll be like, oh man, I'm nothing compared to you. Go
Right.
ahead, Greg. Shout out to Greg.
Right. That's me. Like she's probably she be doing the IG stuff and she's like, okay, so this is how you put up more than one video. I'm like, oh, okay.
So it's teaching.
None of that.
Today she was like, you need one of these ring lights. I'm like, nah.
Yo.
Whatever she needs, we're gonna get her iPad so it's easier. But I used to do the brochures and stuff for recruits. I used to do a brochure for their visit, and whether we did one sheet or a 3-panel brochure, and I used to think I was doing something, but I can only imagine what she'd be able to do because
yeah, it'd be out here.
Like everything that you see on Chowan women's basketball is her. Anything that I share, and I tell you, say you be clicking on it, but everything is her. The video transitions, the slow-mo, and I'm just like, wow, you know.
See, so that was the biggest thing for me to ask, because obviously we're in, COVID-19 and we're being very safe and protective. It's like, how do we reach recruits? Obviously that's a tool, right? That's one of them, bring energy to Chowan. So have you guys had to recruit, able to get any kids on the campus this year? I know they got an extra year from the people there prior. So have you got anybody since y'all got on?
No, we have a visit tomorrow, actually. So regardless, we're scrimmaging tomorrow, and we invited a couple up, but they just actually okayed for us. I don't know if it was like this before we got here, if recruits were coming on campus, and then I don't really know the discrepancy, but they did just give us the okay to invite kids on campus. So yeah, we're not losing too many, but we're definitely inviting kids on campus.
Well, congrats. They give me the opportunity to open up a little bit. I'm sure you're going to do it safely and smartly in that situation. And, God bless the situation for both of you guys to find each other. You guys do look like a Batman and Robin situation, and stuff like that. So obviously the season's upon us soon. You guys have been delayed, 2 months, 3 months? How much months delayed?
The entire fall.
Right. Yeah. So what are some of the things you guys done to like at least speed up some of the process that you usually take slower, longer practices, such as like that?
So there's one word: run.
Hey.
That's what I've been doing. We didn't start. They didn't pick up a ball until November 20. That first week, I got hired. No, I started November 16th, and that Thursday is when they picked up a ball since March. So we did sessions first. We had to go through the protocol, the COVID protocols, and we did individual sessions first, no more than 4 people to a group. And we worked out for like 30 an hour? It was all stipulations. So I only could do and typically my attention span is slow. My individual sessions are like 30 minutes. But I went however long they gave me, whether it was an hour and a half. And it kind of just built up until we were able to do team practices, and we've been running ever since. So I think they're about 75% in shape. I still think there's some more to go, some more, fat we got to get off. But they are working hard. They have accepted us and who we are and what they are trying to learn. Because they know we real hoopers in life. Like we play against them every now and then. We get out there and they be like, oh wow, like you can steal. Yeah, I can steal. Like you can get buckets. So they listen to us, and they want to learn it our way. And so it hasn't been a struggle in trying to change the culture and trying to get them in shape. They some bumps and bruises, some aches and pains. Some people feel like they dying, we just got to run. But I told them there's not going to be an easy way. Teams that have been practicing, they've been playing since September. We're behind, so we got to run. There's no other way. It's the same way I'm going to have to get this weight off of me. I'm going to have to run. So
you're fine, coach.
Look, she mean that about that running too. I told her one practice, I could not play for you. Like they be in.
Yeah, right?
running.
Oh, I believe it for sure. So give people a little identity of like what division you guys play in, what conferences, some of your schedule coming up at with Chowan University.
So we are Division II, NCAA Division II. We are part of Conference Carolinas. Schools like Belmont Abbey, Barton, Les McCray, Mount Olive. Those schools are in our conference. Because of the season being cut short, we're going to play about 16 games regular season. So it's going to be very different, about 2 or 3 games a week. Our very first home game and our very first conference game is January 13th against Barton, which is a big game for us. And every game is going to be a big game for us because we're new and we want to make a statement. But I think the biggest challenge this year is going to be having those back-to-back games, or even those back-to-back games break and then another game. So those 2 and 3 games a week is probably going to be the biggest challenge for all of us, especially when we have to travel and then come right back and get on that court and practice for the next game. So, but I mean, we're looking forward to the challenge. And again, like she said, our girls have bought in, and I think that they're looking for the challenge as well.
And you guys mentioned the scrimmage. You guys scrimmage tomorrow, right? Can't say it. All right. Well, the biggest thing, to take away from here is, 2 women active. You guys got the great chemistry just on camera alone. I'm pretty sure you guys can be doing more interviews just to get your program out there, and young ladies and such things like that. And we did mention some of the tools. You guys do have people coming on campus and such things like that. Any expectations for the upcoming season? Or are you just winging it, or what you got?
Always expectation. Right. Where there is no vision, the people perish. There's always going to be an expectation.
Absolutely.
Always. They ranked us number 8 this year, and like I told my girls, 8 is the number of new beginnings. So we're here for it, but we only expect to be number 8. So
okay.
We're gonna leave it at that.
We're gonna get after it, such things like that. How do people get merch and stuff like that? How do they find you guys on social media, such things like that?
So our campus store is where they have to for now. We actually just did a fundraiser online, but that store is shut down. We are going to look to open the store back up. But again, because we're so behind, we got to pick and choose kind of what we focus on right now. But look for us soon. But for now, Chowan Campus Bookstore is where they can get merchandise.
I know. I grabbed a couple things recently, so I'm excited to get that. I get notifications. I'm like, oh, it's coming. So I'm definitely repping you guys for sure. I'm very excited for you guys' upcoming season, something like that. All right, so on the back end of the situation, we talked about high school recruits or transfers, stuff like that. What is ideas for players who want to play, continue their life and journey in basketball? What are some opportunities for, pro scouts and stuff like that to see what you guys got going on?
I would have to, in terms of COVID, asking administration who is actually allowed, because we're not having fans for January. However, coming from D1, that's normal. Scouts come see kids, and then after, I have always, well, I'm not gonna say I've always, but I've been a part of it. And then last year, I was able to be at the forefront of getting a kid or a couple kids to a combine. So that's what we're gonna push for every year. I don't think we have one graduating this year that's interested in that, but next year for sure. She's actually gonna come back to develop her pro skills so she can get on to the next level. So as far as coming on campus, again, that'd be an administration conversation, but I know you do pro, whoever hears this and they want to see somebody, they look at our stats. Cause I know a lot of people look at your stats and they send stuff out. Do so. I'm telling my girls always, if somebody you like, if you call and ask about somebody, I'm going to give them their your information and give you their information as long as it's legal, as long as we're doing
for sure.
We're not harassing people.
I don't think they would do that. I think the reason why I asked it because there has been so long where the game stopped for a college player right after. Like it's literally if you don't go to the WNBA or if you don't pay, a lot of times you have to pay your way overseas. Like okay, 14. I've seen people get loans just to go overseas and play because of the women's game is unappreciated. And then now the women's game is, I'm into it in the professional level. Like the women's game is just getting more love and more attention around America. And that helps a high school recruit stay in college all the way up and such things like that. And how you guys feel about the I'm gonna say notoriety, but the more attention, women's basketball as a whole is getting now.
I'm excited about it. I'm gonna be honest. I'm excited about the attention that we're getting. I'm excited about the equality that is coming, and I'm excited about people who look like me in high places. I wasn't a baller's life girl. I wasn't. That was my dad and my sister, and I just played, and then I switched. So now that I'm actually like ball is life for me, only because basketball has created a better life for me, not because I don't have a personal life. Don't say I don't. But I'm so excited to see those three things. I remember in like middle school or high school doing a paper on what women's basketball was. WNBA players were getting paid. It was like $24,000. And at the time, I was just like, okay. But now I'm like, how are they living off 24,000? I know now the cap is like 80 something, I think.
100. It just went up to 100. But yeah, they will have to go overseas.
Exciting. That's exciting. But like I say, I'm excited for the equality to come. That's coming. So yeah, I like the orange. I don't know how to get an orange hoodie, but I love the orange hoodie. I got to see a WNBA game a couple years ago in Atlanta, and I can't wait until we can go out because I'm gonna go. Like I'm gonna go see those teams. But yeah.
And I would second everything that she said. I remember being in college and wanting a WNBA tattoo, like because that's where I wanted to be. But that wasn't my path, which I'm okay with. But just like she said, the equality and just fairness, and where it's going, because we'll get to where it needs to be. People like Kamala Harris getting into office, those things help out. The girls in my business that I train, the little girls, for them to have something to look forward to and to hope for is just like, that's good to see now, because at first I know it was a time where I just stopped watching women's basketball because I'm like, why? Like, what's the purpose? They're not being fair. It's like they just out there. I mean, and they playing and they love it and I love it, but I can watch men's basketball where you get advertising and you get all this stuff, the commercials, all the stuff you want to see. They barely even play the games on TV, but now you got a season, you get a trophy, you get all that stuff, and it's just like, okay, like we're here. We're here. Like she said, the women, the African American women that are in high programs, Division I programs, and doing well. It's just like, okay, now let's roll. Like it's time. And for us to be here, I started to post one day, we up next, the two African American women, but I didn't because I didn't know how appropriate it was, so I left it there. But we up next.
Yeah, or you could just post a picture of yourself and say up next.
Right.
And, speaking of you guys' career, I'm thinking maybe you guys have a long career like Vicky Stringer, coach at Rutgers and stuff like that. And what you think about her? Like overall, like she hasn't left. She just got 3 new D1 top 4 players.
One person used to 7'5".
Yep. So she doing her thing, man, and stuff like that. And the one thing, she's seen it all. So give me 3 women coach that you would love just to have 15 minutes with in the history of the game, past or still alive.
Nikki McCray, Dawn Stanley.
Okay.
I like Vicky Stringers. I do like her. I just the experience.
The conversation, yeah.
Yeah. That's my 3.
What about you, Coach?
I think that Coach Stringer is at a place with her staff she has instilled what she wanted and how she wants her program run. So I think her staff is so I have a close relationship with Coach Eatman on staff. So I think that I've gotten her through him. What's that girl's? I can't think of her name at Georgia. I know Coach Rob on her staff, and so I think I've gotten it through her at Coach Chelsea. I don't know. I've spoken to Coach Yolette at Ole Miss. I've never spoken to Coach McCray, and I love her story. It's so many. Like I don't know.
Of course, yeah.
You know, because I came from the SWAC. It's like 6 there, and I want to say so because they're winning on that, especially Coach Tamika at Jackson State. She came in and took over. Like you went from JUCO to D1, and you won your first year. So I don't know. I can't name 3. You know, you asked me that before. Who was my top 5 or something like that? Like I'm so in awe of women. Neil Ivey, who just got the Notre Dame job. Like,
yo, congrats.
Everybody, you know, I don't have a top 3. Because if the coaches know Coach Yolette, like I harassed her, like follow me on Twitter. Like, yes, I follow right now. Get your phone. Did she walked up and I was like, yeah, Coach Yo, I follow you on Twitter. Follow me back. And she was like, okay. I said, no, get your phone out. I'm gonna show you where it is. And so like I do that because I want coaches to know who I am. Like, yeah, I know you and I see what you're doing and I'm admired, but I want you to know who I am also.
Right.
So yeah, if I see Coach Stringer, she probably look at me crazy at the beginning. But I'm gonna say, let me get 5 minutes of your time. I talked to Coach Q at Syracuse a lot, and he knows because he talks a lot. He's a talker, and so he'll be joking, and I'm like, no, I'm serious. Write me a play. I still have a play that he drew up for me at the Final Four, and he's like talking, and I'm like, no, draw me a play. And he drew it up on this napkin, and he explained.
Still got it.
And I'm like, yeah, and I'm like, he's like, oh, you serious? Yes. Every time you see me, I'm getting some nuggets. So yeah, that's how I am with coaches. Like
that's love. But one day somebody will be asking about meeting both of you guys one day. If you look at it the right way. So that's why I was like, well, who you think? Because essentially someone's going to say, well, I hope I meet both of them one day. So I'm totally excited for you guys' season. I look forward to having a further update with you guys throughout the season, see how it goes. I know you guys have the COVID protocols, stuff like that. I do want to come out, but we'll see how that goes once they start letting fans or spectators. I'll come as a regular person, not as a commissioner of a league or nothing. I won't say nothing to nobody. I definitely want to go like that. But leave my audience with something. Some of you guys, like I said, you chose about your handles. You guys care about your individual handles? Or you want to focus on charm?
Well, you know me that they better off getting the Chowan women's basketball because it takes me a while to know. Look at people on my Instagram and now Twitter I'm open, and so
okay.
Twitter if you put it up on your podcast, I don't even know my Twitter thing, and I don't want to seem like I'm so far removed, but
it's fine.
I just want to spend time, and she know I'll be on social media, but I just be trying to keep up, and it's so. I shut it down at months at a time because it's just too much. But she knows our stuff.
So we are CCW B-ball. So that's Chowan Women's Basketball. And my personal, I actually don't have a personal. God was like, yo, get off Instagram and show people who I am. So that page is now at Social Media Church KJ. I also have a business page at Prep Camp Academy on Instagram. And then our Twitter page, I'm sorry, I honestly don't know the name, but Chowan Women's Basketball, if I'm not mistaken, is what it is. But,
I'll take care of it.
Okay, thank you, I appreciate you. But like I said, so my business page, and it just shows, the development. That video that you were talking about is up there too, if anybody else wants to see it. And then Social Media Church is just me being a witness for God. But other than that, that's all I got.
Well, I'm totally excited for you guys, 100%. Appreciate you guys coming to the City of Coaches podcast. Follow Chowan University. I'm excited for both of them. Oh, are you guys streaming any games live or anything? I'm sorry I didn't ask that prior.
Every game is going to be streamed live. It is on our website. People keep asking, when's your first game? Who y'all play? It is on the website. Google Chowan women's basketball. The roster might come up first. Look at the schedule. Every game is going to be streamed.
It's lit. Everybody just excited. They're just excited for you guys. Look at y'all. Man, I'm excited for you guys 100%. Well, that was the City of Coaches podcast. I look forward to seeing what's going on. Many blessings to you guys. You guys are wonderful. I really appreciate the opportunity of you guys coming on the show.
Thank you, sir. We appreciate you having us.
No doubt. Hold on one second. Don't hang up.